Okay. Mhm. All right, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful time. So today is the 17th of December 2022, and it's interesting that the year has already come to an end, which I find very amusing because I remember when we shouted Happy New Year for the year 2022, and now we're already at the end of the year. But anyway, this live broadcast is a special one. Today is I'm hosting the final episode of Exploring the Motherland with Young African Leaders for the year 2022. And for those who are listening to us for the first time, if this is your first time listening to us, you're listening to Exploring the Motherland with Young African Leaders. And my name is Ololade Otayemi, and I am the host on this show. I have been the host on this show since inception. I think we started the show sometime in July when the last set of Yali fellows were here with us in the new Black Wall Street market. And I'm going to give a bit of background so that I can lead us to where I'm taking the conversation to. For those who are listening to us on radio, like I said, my name is Ololade. For those who just joined us, today is the final episode of Exploring the Motherland, and I want to give a little background of the show. So, Exploring the Motherland is a show that was designed to create a connection between Africa and America. Africa being the motherland, as Americans call it. But one of the things that I found to be very interesting in the course of hosting this show is that there's a huge knowledge gap between Americans and the continent of Africa. There is also a lack of adequate connection between the people of America and those in Africa. That is those back in the motherland, and which was why we started the show in the first place. So the show has helped us to sort of explore certain countries across the continent of Africa, and I'm going to go through a list of them very quickly. But the show started as an output of the efforts of Mr. Bill Allen, who is the founder of the New Black Wall Street Radio, also the founder of the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute. And here's where the connection comes from. And I'm trying to make the connection now. So many years ago, President Barack Obama, as we all know, by in a lot of ways, we all know he's African. There are there there are things or there are different ways and different people have said that it's from Kenya, and he has also mentioned that it's from Kenya. So yes, we can say he's African, right? African American, as the case may be. So President Barack Obama started a program in 2014 called the Young African Leaders Initiative. It's now known as the YALI program. And this program, when he started it with one goal in mind: to build the continent of Africa. And here is how the program was designed. So the program brings the best and brightest young African leaders from Africa to the US for a period of about 6 weeks. And in these 6 weeks, they get to learn, they get to do a number of things, they have extracurricular activities, they meet with Americans. And within this period, everyone who comes in for that program is enlisted with an American university. Now, that university has the responsibility to ensure that while these young African leaders are in America, they learn as much as possible about the United States, with the goal that when they go back to their home country, they'll begin to transform it based on the things they've learned in the US and the relationships that they've formed while they were in the US for that 6 weeks. Now, That was the episode, or that was the beginning of the program in 2014. And right from inception, Clark Atlanta University, which of course a lot of us know if you're around here in the United States, and I know there are other people who are listening to me who are not in the United States, but Clark Atlanta University happens to be the partner for one of the universities, rather, that partners with the US Department of State to be able to implement this program. I was a fellow, a Mandela Washington Fellow with Clark Atlanta University in 2014. But from inception, the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute, founded by Mr. Bill Allen, who is also the founder of the New Black Wall Street Market and the New Black Wall Street Radio, has been hosting fellows every single year. Uh, and this is how it works. He hosts them in his private hotel, which I am in, and I'm reaching you live from right now in Stonecrest, Georgia. Feeds them, accommodates them, brings his entrepreneur friends to train them for 3 days on different ways for them to scale their businesses, to grow their businesses, how to expand, how to really decide what kind of business they should go into and what they should focus on. And it's always an intensive uh, 3 days of learning and exposure. So within that period, or within the period of 2014 and today, we have had over 200 yearly Mandela Washington Fellows go through the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute. And this show has interviewed a number of them in the past few months, roughly about 5 to 6 months. And I would like to just run through some of the people we've interviewed and some of the conversations that we've had, and how we can begin to take advantage of these connections that we have across the continent. So what I mean by that is the connections we have in the US and the connections we have in Africa. So the show started with a bang, as I would like to call it. I think that when we started the show, one of the things we wanted to achieve was to really get to understand what these yearly fellows are doing back home in the continent of Africa. That's one. The second thing was also to make a connection with them, for them to be able to collaborate with those of us who are in the United States and begin to make adequate transformation and real transformation in the continent of Africa. And even open up opportunities for those who are in the United States who want to expand or who want to explore opportunities in Africa to be able to explore those opportunities. This was why we started the show. And I'm happy to say that a lot of that has happened this year. However, this would be the last episode of the show for the year 2022. As we transition into the new year 2023, we're changing strategy for the show, and it's to become more engaging. We're going to be interviewing more entrepreneurs, not just entrepreneurs who are based in Africa, but also entrepreneurs who are based outside of Africa, but are doing things to transform the continent and are creating linkage between Africa and the United States. So, the first episode, and I really would love to appreciate everyone who has been on this show with me. The first episode, which was a bang, was uh, aired on the 24th of July 2022. And the guest, or my guest on that show, was Christina Darrow. Christina Darrow yes, she still is, a 2022 Mandela Washington Fellow with Clark Atlanta University. She runs a she runs a school back in Uganda. However, she had started the process of starting a ride sharing mobile app for kids to be able to go back and forth school with ease and with safety. And that was the conversation we had with Christine. So I want to appreciate Christine. Christine, thank you very much for being a part of the show. Next, after that, on the 30th of July, we had a very wonderful, amazing friend of mine called Frida Anyanwu. Frida runs EBH Africa in Nigeria. Yeah, like I said, Frida is a 2022 Mandela Washington Fellow from Nigeria. Frida runs EBH Africa in Nigeria. And EBH Africa is essentially a virtual entrepreneurship hub for entrepreneurs to be able to access support even without them being in a physical hub or a physical location. and the platform has grown to, I believe they have over 1,000 entrepreneurs right now on the platform, and the platform is growing very well. And they are encouraging and they are helping young entrepreneurs build their business and scaling their business with the kind of support they're giving them. They train them, they give them access to market, access to capital, and a lot of other things. So that was the chat we had with Frida Anyanwu. Next, we had another chat with a very wonderful gentleman called Oatmeal. Oatmeal is a 2022 fellow as well, Mandela Washington fellow, uh, from the country of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Oatmeal is a tech entrepreneur. His company builds softwares. They develop various kind of applications for different organizations and even the government. And I believe, if I recall very well, the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo runs one of their softwares. And Oatmeal is also planning to scale his business not just across the continent of Africa, but outside of Africa into the United States and into Europe. And one interesting fact about Oatmeal is that when myself and Oatmeal met, we realized that we have a lot of things in common. I mean, he's a web developer. I used to be a web developer myself, even though I'm not a very lazy web developer. But I used to be an active web developer myself. He's a tech entrepreneur. He likes gadgets like me, yeah. And that was the chat with Oatmeal. And I want to say here that for those who are just joining us, uh, this is Exploring the Motherland with Young African Leaders, and this is the final episode for the year 2022. Exploring the Motherland is a show that was created to form a linkage between Africa and the United States of America by getting insights from the people who we call YALI Fellows. For those who don't know what the YALI program is, YALI stands for Young African Leaders Initiative. It was started by President Barack Obama in 2014. And the flagship program within the YALI program itself is called the Mandela Washington Fellowship, which President Barack Obama started, like I said, in 2014 to bring the best and brightest young African leaders into the United States for the period of 6 weeks to learn and interact with Americans with the hope that when they go back to their home country, they'll begin to transform the continent of Africa based on the things that they learned. And now we're talking about some of the people we've had on this show in the year 2022. Next, we had Mubiana from Zambia. And Mubiana, Mubiana's chat was one of the most interesting chats that I had because she coming to the fellowship was sort of like an unexpected thing for her. And then she kept talking about how it transformed her and how meeting Mr. Allen and the time she spent at the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute and the New Black Wall Street market has really helped her to change her perspective about a lot of things. Next, after Mubiana, we had a chat with Solange. Solange is a fashion entrepreneur from Cameroon. And Solange has been doing business and doing stuff in the United States for some time. She has a lot of her products. People are wearing a lot of her products in New York and across the US. And I think that's really commendable of Solange, even before she got into the US, right? Rather, she got into the fellowship. But now, after getting into the fellowship, she's now really looking at how to scale her business to be able to expand and meet more more Americans that she can do business with. And that has been going pretty well from what I gathered. And now she's one of the people who is joining us to launch the Yali store, which we'll talk about in a bit. After that, we had a chat with Ash. Ash is a very fine young gentleman from the country of Mauritius. For those who don't know Mauritius is one of those pretty islands in Africa where you go for your vacation and you have a very wonderful, nice time. And Ash has been a very amazing person since we met. Ash is a digital marketing entrepreneur. He helps businesses to scale their operations using digital marketing, social media, and a number of other mediums like that. And my conversation with Ash was just an amazing one. To see a young man who is so passionate about developing, not just developing himself, but helping people grow their business, which is very rare nowadays. Most entrepreneurs just want to grow their own business and not really grow other people's business. But Ash's business is centered solely around him helping people grow their business, which I think is very, very commendable. Next, after that, we had a chat with one of my wonderful friends. This was on the 3rd of September, Blessing Bashir. And Blessing and I happen to live in the city of Abuja, right? In fact, we attend the same church, which is quite interesting. Blessing is a fashion entrepreneur from Nigeria. She runs an outfit called BB Artistry, and BB Artistry has one of the most beautiful female outfits that you can see out there. I have seen so many people, even in the United States, who are wearing and rocking attires, and they're amazing. So we had a chat with Blessing, and Blessing also said a lot about how his interaction with Mr. Allen and the entire Allen Entrepreneurial Institute family and the new Black Wall Street market began to shape the way she now thinks about her business. And I think that that's something that we all need to be very conscious of, which is the fact that um, sometimes what you need to grow your business to expose yourself to other opportunities and other possibilities. In some cases, the opportunity is there, right? But the challenge is that we don't, as much as possible, try to explore those opportunities. And here is the thing: every time, every time we fail to explore opportunities, we are leaving room for us not to be able to scale and expand that business as much as we can. Opportunities are the ways, or are the tools, or are the frameworks, or are the are the things that help us to really scale any kind of business that we're doing. That's why sometimes when businesses start to fail, or when businesses start to slow down, or when your business is not picking up or not doing as well as they should, you'll be advised by business consultants to go out there and look for more opportunities. And every time an opportunity comes to you as an entrepreneur, try as much as possible to analyze it first, then decide if it's something you should take. If it's something you should take, then please and please just go for it. That would be my advice regarding that. Right after that, we had a chat with Nana from Ghana, and Nana taught us a lot of things about Ghana. Nana invited everyone to visit Ghana. Um, Nana is I believe she's a software analyst in Ghana, and Nana is also a tech entrepreneur as well. Interestingly, Nana was the first female tech entrepreneur that I would have on the show, and it was an amazing time. Right after that, we had a chat with Kevin from Cote d'Ivoire, and Kevin himself is also a digital marketing entrepreneur. And then we had the most interesting episode of the show that I can remember, and that was the episode that I had with some older generation of Mandela Washington Fellows. So I had a chat with Fumi from Nigeria, who was a 2015 Mandela Washington Fellow, and Flora from Tanzania, who was a Flora from Tanzania, who was a 2017 Mandela Washington Fellow with me. And these two amazing ladies are doing great work in their various countries. Fumi created what we call a mobile reading library for kids, and the bus drives around different communities and gives kids opportunities to be able to read books that they normally do not have access to. Flora in Tanzania makes very amazing female accessories from crochet, and she's doing very well, fantastically well. And that those were the top episodes that we had this year on the show. I would like to appreciate everyone. I'd like to appreciate and then one last episode that we had recently, which was last week, was with my very wonderful friend, Mr. Gerard Katabazi, who is a coffee entrepreneur from Uganda. He founded and he runs an organization called Volcano Coffee, and Volcano Coffee is doing fantastically well in the country of Uganda, and I'm really proud of this guy. In fact, on the show, he taught us something last week. He taught us about uh, a an opportunity that is available for African entrepreneurs to be able to do business with Americans, right? That was founded by President Clinton. I'm going to pull that up in a bit. But while I do that, I would just like to appreciate everyone. I would like to appreciate Gerald. I would like to appreciate Nana, Kevin, everyone for being a part of the show with me this year. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next year, we're going to continue the show. I also like to, next year, we're going to continue the show on a very different note. We're going to be interviewing different entrepreneurs, and they're going to be sharing their entrepreneurial journey with us and how they've been able to scale and grow their businesses, especially those of them who are doing business across the continents, between the continents of Africa and the United States. So, please, I would like to encourage you, if you've not been following the show, try and follow the show. Follow me on social media. Follow New Black Wall Street Market on social media, and you'll be able to get updates on when our new episodes will start. The new episode will start in January. The date will be announced on the in the first week of January, when we'll start the new and next, or rather, the first episode for the year 2022. Sorry, 2023. I'm still in 2022. It's 2023. It's 2023. It's 2023. All right. The next episode would hear sometime towards the end of January 2023, and we're going to announce the date the first week of January 2022. And we hope that you would be able to learn something and hopefully be able to build your business such that it becomes an intercontinental business, which is what we really want to achieve with this show. We want to be able to say that certain entrepreneurs who have been on the show, who have been listening to the show, were able to scale their business across Africa to the United States, and from the United States to Africa. And that is what we really want to try to achieve with this show. And finally, I would like to do or shout out to a few people who have really helped to make this show a success in the past 6 months. I'd like to thank first. I'd like to thank Mr. Bill Allen, the founder and owner of New Black Wall Street Market, and I'd like to thank the entire New Black Wall Street Market team: Unithia, Matt, Lord, Teron, Jamila, Tawana. Oh, the names are failing me right now. Nee, Richard, Chan, Chris, Todd, Tashua, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ruben, my very good friend. Thank you so much for making this show a success. Without you guys, this wouldn't have been a success. And special thanks to all of the people who have been listening to the show, who have been dropping comments. Thank you very, very much for listening and being with me for the past 5 months plus. I promise that as we enter the new year, the show will become better. It will become more impactful, and hopefully to be able to help you to scale your businesses across the various continents that the show seeks to represent. Thank you very, very much for joining me today as we wrap up the show exploring the motherland with young African leaders. I know that it's Christmas, and right now I believe that we have Santa at the New Black Wall Street Market. So if you're around the Stonecrest or Atlanta metro area, I would advise you to head over to the New Black Wall Street Market, as Santa is there giving out gifts, and a number of fun things are going on in the market right now. I'll be heading there myself. I just wanted to do this before heading out. So thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who has made this a reality and a success once again. And I hope to see you all again in the new year 2023. Merry Christmas to everyone, and Happy New Year 2023 in advance. Let's have a wonderful, wonderful rest of our day. Bye for now.